Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new up in this place, my name is Ntwaniengomane, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back to this channel. I'm back again with a video about finances because finances play such a big role in our lives. Before we get into the video, this is the souvenir that I got from my most recent trip to Ireland, Dublin, and a lot of people were asking me on Instagram, so what did you end up buying? I ended up buying this hoodie for myself, which is like so pretty and I absolutely love it. Today's video is just really talking about building up the finances, to take up opportunities abroad. And I think I must mention that the first thing is building up your savings. I know it might come a little bit late for people who are already in third year of their articles and are looking to move abroad if they haven't built up that savings yet. But if you have a little bit more time, please do build up on your savings, because yes, moving abroad, you get reimbursed for the cost, but at the end of the day, you have to pay those costs first. Let's have this conversation and let's talk figures. Let me give you the down low on how much I spent to basically relocate here and to be comfortable for the first few months that I was here. So the first thing I think I must mention is that I had an emergency savings, and I have been saving in my emergency savings since my first year of articles. I've always been a saver. I've always had a culture of saving and investing. So for me, it came naturally to start saving when I started working, right? So I built up my emergency fund from then until obviously I was at third year trainee at that point. And I say emergency fund because that's what I had, and this is not the brightest advice maybe to use, because your emergency fund should really be for emergencies and not for things or expenses that are predictable that you could have saved up for. But in my defense, I used my emergency fund because I had a whole lot more money in there than I really needed for any kind of emergency that could come up. But if you are somebody who is sitting and your emergency fund is not up there, maybe try use your savings and not your emergency fund, just for the fact that an emergency could come up and you may need to access those funds. Another thing for me as well is that I knew that some of these costs that I was going to incur are refundable, so I was going to get that emergency money back. It wasn't money that was just splurging and not gonna recover. And I think, over and above this, we need to start having conversations about finances, especially for people who are getting into the workforce for the first time, your first year trainees, people who are looking into getting a job to fund their studies, just anyone and everybody who's like starting work for the first time. But that's a whole conversation that we need to have. Maybe we'll have it on this channel, maybe or not. Just let me guys drop me a comment down below and let me know how you feel about that. Moving abroad, it's all nice, it's all great, and it looks nice on Instagram, but guys, moving abroad really costs a lot of money, and it really needs you to have planned financially for it. If you haven't planned, you may need to go into getting some credit card, getting into some overdraft if you have access to that. But I think the good thing is that most of these costs you will be reimbursed for by your employer if that is the condition of your employment. So you will be able to pay back that credit card or pay back that overdraft, hopefully without incurring a lot of interest. And I can only say this for people who really have no other alternative but to use credit cards or to use an overdraft account to fund their trip, because often we tend to lose out on opportunities because we're not prepared financially to take up these opportunities. So this is my attempt, to sort of help everybody to like, hey guys, you need to start saving so you're able to take up opportunities that come up, because something could happen and you're needed on a job in the US, but you just need to pay for your flight ticket there and everything else will be taken care of. But if you don't have that 15k to pay for a flight ticket, you might lose out on that opportunity. So let's start having these conversations. Let's start having a culture of saving up and building up finances to take up opportunities that can take us to another level in life. So my move to the UK, costed me, I just want to put a ballpark figure and then I'll break it down. So it costed me around 80 to 90,000 rand to move here and to settle and to be okay for the first month. So what does this consist of? The first thing is that it consists of visa costs. So obviously some of these costs that I'm going to mention here are have been reimbursed by my employer, because that was the condition of our contract. So it wasn't just me spending this money that I'm not going to recover. So the first was visa costs, and this included my TBT test. It included my English requirement certificate, my fingerprints at the immigration office to go get my passport done, and all of that costed me around 7,000 rand, just the visa process alone. And then the second thing was flights. And by the time I booked my flight, I only had, I think, about 3 days before I left when I made my booking. So it was really expensive at that point. I know people who flew in the same flight who paid way less. So my flight ticket, just the ticket alone, costed me about 8,000 rand, and this is exclusive of excess luggage that I have, because you can understand I'm moving for good from South Africa to the UK. I have a whole lot more bags than my flight ticket included, so I had to pay for extra luggage, which then I ended up paying 4,000 rand for extra 2 bags of luggage. So flights alone, flights and my luggage in total costed me about 12,000 rand. And then when you land, or when I landed in the UK, I had to move from, or I had to be transported from the airport to the hotel, and I had to pay also for that transport, and I had to pay for the hotel stay, which was a 7-day stay. So in total for transport and that hotel stay, I paid about 7,200 rand. I'm converting all of this to rand, so it's easier to understand. And then I think the biggest expense that I had was temporal accommodation while I was looking for a place to stay. And temporal accommodation costed me about 22,000 rand for 3 weeks, right? So 3 weeks worth of Airbnb stay costed me about 22,000 rand. And I think it could have been more if it was just me, but at that time I was looking for a place with my flatmate, and we were also sharing the Airbnb that we were at. So my portion, or my share of that cost of the Airbnb, was the 22,000 rand that I'm talking about. That means in total for the both of us, the Airbnb was 44,000 rand or somewhere, 45,000 rand if I can put it that way. So yeah, the temporary accommodation was the most expensive thing I had paid for in that first month. And then the other component to all these costs was miscellaneous things like the food that I was eating from the day I landed and throughout the month of January. We talk about transport from the Airbnb to the office, if I needed to go to the office, or transport from the Airbnb to go do viewings. That's another cost, right? Because when you do viewings, you need to move from place to place and look at all these things. That is a cost. You need to eat during those times or that month where you're still looking for a place. And there are also certain things like furnishing, utensils. When you've now found the place, you need to buy things like kitchen utensils, your microwaves, your toasters, your kettle, your spoons, your mugs, your plates. All of those things come into play during the first month that you land in any country. Another cost for me that was a bit miscellaneous that I didn't think about was clothing. And I don't know, unless you've been to the UK before and you know how cold, and you have coats and boots that are gonna keep you warm in the temperatures here, you might need to buy maybe 2 extra coats. You might need to buy maybe 2 pairs of boots or sneakers or whatever it is, just to keep warm, because I found that some of my South African coats that I came with here are not as warm in the temperatures here. They were not built for the cold here, so I had to add on and buy maybe like 3 coats, you know, just to get something to wear to the office as well, and also to be warm when you're out in the streets. So all those miscellaneous costs, I would say, costed me for the whole month of January would probably have costed me around 30,000 rand. And I know that feels like a lot of money, but think about buying spoons, buying plates, buying microwaves, kettles, bedding, clothes, transport, food. It's a lot. Okay, in total, all of these things, just in the month of January alone, when I was still settling in, that would have been around 80,000 rand. So it can be anything between 80 to 90,000 rand, depending obviously on your personal preferences. That is how much you could potentially prepare for. Obviously, if at this point you are looking to move and you don't have this money, maybe try get a credit card, maybe try get an overdraft. But guys, please pay that back. Be responsible with debt, because you don't want to find yourself struggling to pay this money off. You know, now when you're here and there's just this debt that's sitting and waiting for you in South Africa. So just make sure you're responsible. Make sure when you do get reimbursed, if those are the terms of your contract, that you pay back that credit card and you pay back that overdraft as soon as possible. So yeah, those are my costs, and that's just what I wanted to discuss in this video. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I hope it sort of like brings things closer to home for people who are considering, so how much do I need to budget? Or maybe if you just didn't know that you know there are costs involved, you think it was a paid holiday. It's not a paid holiday. It's money that we have to pay up front, and then you can get reimbursed if those are the terms of your contract. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please do comment down below. Let me know how you're finding the video. Let me know how you're finding the series as well. Are we doing good? Is there anything you'd like me to tweak? Is there anything you'd like me to change? Because this is for you, and I'd really appreciate some feedback. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Bye.